Excellent. Hopefully, there we are. I can pick up this and excuse me for coughing. There we are. Excellent. Click that there. That's that shared for there. I click on excellent. Right, good. So I can see and hear myself. So that's all pretty cool. So let's just pop that over there. Well, I should get all of my comments from Facebook, from StreamYard. Good evening, Emarine. I'm assuming Emarine is your given name, your first name, not your family name. Forgive me if it's not, and please correct me. Hello, Juliana. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, I've gone live just a little bit early, so we'll give folks a few minutes to come in. I don't very often do pure Halloween makes, so I didn't have a lot of stuff in my stash that was overtly Halloween, as in bats and ghosts. But the Halloween to me can also mean celestial, bit gothic, bit dark. So lots of different twists, a bit magical, a bit mystery. So I've actually searched through my stash, and I think there's quite a lot of Stamperia products that, of course, Penta distribute that would work, the Cosmos collection being one. But actually I've chosen to work with one of their collections from last year, Fortune. I've done a few makes with the Egyptian components, but this one is very much more about the supernatural, hence the twist on Halloween just before we go live. And I've done a little bit of prep, and I'll talk about these as we go. It's just gone 6 o'clock now, so that's cool. Let me just move some of these bits to where I'm not going to end up with them too dirty, because I know what I'm like, and I need to have a specific ink pad rather than a fabric one, because the fabric one's nice. So let's just pick those up so that they're all within reaching distance. Good evening, Sheila. Hello, Esther. Good evening, Margaret. Hello, Lynn. So there's a good number of people just trickling on. So let's just pop some of, there's a bit more prep. There we are. It's always good, isn't it, to know that there's quite a lot of work goes on quietly behind the scenes when it comes to doing a live. And as ever, I've got 55,000 bits around me, which is just par for the course, really. But there we are. So excuse me while I just cough and sputter, because coughing and sputtering is always a good thing to do. Not, but it is part of life, particularly this time of year. I hope for those of you that are in the UK and are eligible, have been good and had your COVID vaccination boosters. I had mine this morning, but I don't have a sore arm yet, which is cool. So I'm going to start this with a large MDF tag. Lots of companies do these, so I'm sure you can source them pretty much anywhere in the world, but it could just as easily be a plain board or a piece of cardboard. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that's cost you a small fortune. Good evening, Connie. Hi, Lynn. Good evening, Sarah. Thank you for sharing, my darling. Much, much appreciated. So because I'm going to use a rice paper, I'm just going to add a layer of acrylic primer on the top of this. It's a thinner product than the gesso, so it moves and covers more easily, I think, is the honest answer, and will give me the white base that I want. And of course I've got a porous surface, so I don't need to have gesso per se. I just need a white background. You could just use paint, a white paint, You just want something that's going to let your rice paper colours pop. Though having said that, the colours in the rice paper that I've chosen are all a bit, a bit muted. But the acrylic primer covers nicely, isn't thick and gloopy, so it goes a long, long way. And I'm a great believer in using products for their use that they're intended, but also, this will double up as a white paint quite happily. But if I wanted to add white splatters, but I wouldn't use it as a primer on a non-porous surface when I'd either use the bonding primer, or I might use the ordinary gesso. There we are. So that's just given that a coat of that. And as ever, that now needs to dry. Why are you not eligible, Sarah? Are you not diabetic, my darling? Or do you not qualify from that point of view? I've had mine because I'm a carer for my husband who has heart disease. So although I'm technically too young, because we have a very vulnerable adult in the house, I've had mine. And I certainly wasn't challenged or asked at the GPs when I went to get it. And certainly the evidence for this year is that COVID is causing problems for the 80-plus-year-olds, not the younger age groups, whereas flu can definitely cause problems and end up in intensive care admissions for much younger people. So I guess someone's made a call based on efficacy and need, and I suspect there's a bit of cost added into it as well. Good evening, Julie. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well done, Margaret. It's really, really important. If you not get it because of your asthmatic, then, my darling, I would challenge and see if you can. I mean, I've certainly managed it, but that, as I say, that is because I've got a husband with chronic lung disease and awaiting heart surgery. So we qualify as carer. I qualify as a carer for a vulnerable adult. Good evening, Sophie. Welcome, my darling. Welcome, welcome. This is very much a mixed media live, my darling. Not a card making live tonight, but I hope you enjoy. There is some purple tonight. We had some, not a lot, but there is some purple, and there's definitely some black. Yeah, that I think is reasonably dry. So let's find another brush. Ever wondered how many brushes I end up with at the end of a life? Yeah. So you're relatively young still, Sarah. That's probably why you don't qualify. But my son has been told he qualifies because he's of his asthma. So I wonder if it's a postie code thing. Mind you, he has had some hospital admissions with his asthma over the last year, so that might contribute to it. You see, I'm coughing and spluttering. There we are, there we are. So this rice paper is not going to fit completely, and that's cool. I don't have an issue with that, because once it's dry, I can take off the sides. So I'm pushing from the inside out. There we are. Once it's dried on there, just going to give that a blast now. So I can take the side off and then add that to the top. If I dry the edges, and then I can varnish the whole lot all in one go. I've just got that little smidgen at the top. And by the time I've added layers, it's not going to matter that it's not quite a continuation. And I'm just using my hands to rub that down rather than a brush, because you don't very often see me not varnishing to start with, but So it's because I want to get that edge off there sooner rather than later. And then I can varnish the whole lot in one go. So that's the plan anyway. And I'm just going to grab an emery board because that's going to be small and functional. Hi Bee, welcome, welcome. So I've managed to get the glue dried underneath. That's going to let me take this edge off, then I can get it glued down before varnishing it. So down, and it's definitely worth having dried edges, and sanding just definitely gives you a nicer finish. There we are. So that can go there. I'll pop that there for the moment. Let's deal with this other edge at the same time. I might need to add a bit more glue underneath in that corner. Don't try sanding with wet rice paper, because you will definitely make an icky mess and destroy your images. But if you've got dry edges, then it will come off relatively easily. Now then. There we are. So that will work there. So let's just add that into there. I'm going to be disguising this edge. You'll almost never see me going edge to edge like this, but it won't matter by the time I've finished the piece. There we are. So now I can give this there a little bit of a varnish, and at the end of the day, no one is going to be any the wiser for the fact that I have added. There we are. That piece, and I'm deliberately varnishing this because it's going to allow me to add layers and mediums over the top without causing me any issues, and then I can wipe back what I don't want if it gets on it. If I don't varnish it, then that won't. B, how is your mum? I know you're going through a very difficult time. My heart, my hugs and my prayers are absolutely with you. I wouldn't wish what you're struggling, what you're going through on anyone. I just think it's just very, very difficult. So I'm just going to make sure I've got a nice, good coverage. I'm sticking to my normal rules of going, keeping my brush marks all going in one direction. It's just easier for me to do that. So that can go in there. Good evening, Sophie. Hi, Judith. I don't recognise you, so welcome if this is your first time watching a Pentart Live. Pentart are a Hungarian company that are run by a family in Hungary. Dad George is a chemist, and so he has a team of chemists behind making all sorts of paint pastes and mediums that are really, really good quality and cost effective in the process. So that's who I'm representing tonight. They have lives 2 or 3 times a week, always put information posted under events on their page and then advertised by their creators. There is at least one English language live every single week. That's because I do a live for them every single week, unless I'm on holiday. But they do have a couple of other creatives who speak English, with Silas Contos and Blanche. Blanche is Bianca is doing a live, a winter live this week as well. So if you've got paints and mediums you're not sure how to use, then it's helpful because obviously your understanding really helps. Although I do appreciate I have a lot of non-English speaking followers who also watch what I do. So let me just get rid of that big blob of, wipe that off because it's going to be there forever to dry, and then I can deal with that corner. So I need to deal with that corner before we start adding. Hopefully that is on reasonably straight. Again, it's not going to matter hugely if it's not, because I have a large focal piece that's going to go in there, and I'm not going to worry about taking the piece out of the hole. And I'm going to break the rules there because I've still got wet rice paper, but it's going to allow me to move on. So I've got a line there, but that's not going to show long term. Now then, right, I need one of these. And oh dear, she says, what she dropped on the floor. If I drop stuff on the floor now and don't retrieve it, I'll then panic partway through the life. So I have a stencil from the Fortune collection. There we are. And we're just going to add. And please don't look at me in absolute horror when you see what I'm about to do, because I can see why you might look at me in absolute horror, because I have some heavy body gel glossy in black. So this is the same as the heavy body gel. It shines shiny. Look at that liquid magic. If you haven't got it, don't stress. Use the ordinary heavy body gel glossy and add some black pigment to it. Pentacolor do pigment paste, but if you haven't got that, then don't worry about it. You can then just add some, any form of pigment, to an ordinary heavy body gel glossy, and you'll get a silver shiny surface. There we are. I don't need it to be, don't particularly want it to cover everything. So there we are. Let's just do that. Let's hope my stenciling isn't too messy today. Hey, I like it when a plan comes together. And I haven't quite got it at the bottom, so I'm just going to smush that in at the edges, give it a little bit of texture along the way. There we are. And give my piece a little bit of a frame. So I do want to add some more to up here. Let's just get that so it's reasonably straight. And it's not going to stay black, ladies. Don't stress. It's not. But this is how I'm choosing to disguise some of those edges. There we are. Excellent. So it's a bit blurred because I bounced it there. So in an ideal world, you would leave it dry before you added it anywhere else. So there we are. Yeah, glossy everywhere. But this is a black one. It comes back. Doesn't even need pre-colouring. Hippie. Makes me a happy girl. Oh, she says. Let's just shovel that in there. And let's just take this. There we are. Let's pop that there. Let's pop that on there. let's lid that. Pop that safely out of there. So, you know, if you had a piece of card, you could just push this through onto a piece of card. But hopefully this will get most of the mess off. Clearly not going to move all of it, but if I can get it out from the nooks and the crannies of the stencil, then that will be helpful. There we are. You see, you could have put that all onto another piece quite happily. And yeah. So I think these stencils that have lots of different areas in them are uber useful. You know, a bit of abstract background, some text, some circle, you know, really, really usable. So let's just put that over there. Let's just pop that over there. Let's just grab some extra bits and pieces. Don't drop that. Excellent. So this is the rapid resin, which is white. I've chosen the white one. Yeah, black and purple, Sophie. And we are going to make it a bit more purple. I promise, I promise. And I have painted this already with some black primer paste to give me a background. Here we are. Now then, put the brain into the gear as to what we're going to do. So we've got green. Aha, that's the one we want. And that one. And that one. So I have cobalt blue, really dark blue, violet in the metallics, and ivy green. And we're just going to pop these all erratically onto here. There we are. We're just going to mix and match. Okay, there we are. So beautiful, beautiful colours. I think you can see quite nicely there. So let's just, we'll just pop some of that onto there. And I always work with my metallics on a black background. It just makes them more shiny, I think, and you get nicer coverage. I don't want this all to be uniform, so let's just go for a set of 3 areas for that. We're going to do a little bit of mixing and matching, so let's just add some of that purple into there. There we are. Anyone might think I might have planned this. I sort of have. There we are. So there we are. So that's just giving me quite a nice effect, I think. And then let's just add some of this green. So we really do have, for Sophie, black and purple. I used different sets of metallics on my live the other day. I'm going to add a bit of green into there. So we've got 3 areas. And because this is wet, it will mix in quite nicely. Let me just blur that edge just a little bit. There we are. So I've got the cobalt blue metallic. That needs a clean out, otherwise that won't set solidly because I've taken out the... They are absolutely beautiful colours, and they are so, so shiny. And again, I'm using products that I don't tend... They're not my go-to. It's not my go-to colours, and it's definitely not my go-to colour palette. But sometimes you just have to, and that's where having a whole mountain of stuff in your stash really makes a big difference. There we are. let's just pop that onto there and we'll lid that. Okie dokie. I don't know why I've just done that, but hey ho, because I've got some other bits to do. Okay. So we now have some teal green and some dark silver and some it says it's sparkling green. There we are. Okay, so that's our starting point. So teal metal, oh, she says, good grief. Right, just bear with while I find a craft pick to unhook this. I've clearly got, I think I've cross-screwed it, to be fair. And if we can't unscrew it, there we are. So this is the metallic teal. You see, it shouldn't have been difficult to get out because it tells you how rarely I use it, because it's a brand new pot. Look at that. Ooh. Let's fish. Take some of that back into there. Got loads on the brush. Let's get rid of that thick layer. And we're just going to paint our letters in that teal. Is it use every colour that I've got? No, I can assure you I've still got a large collection of different colours in my pot. They're all in my drawer with these. But yeah, absolutely. There we are. And I tell you what, to make life easy, we're not going to go with some of those other colours. We're going to actually pick up gold. No, Elizabeth, they are from the Gear Up for Christmas mould from Stamperia. And they are a fabulous size. So this is from the Fortune collection. No prices there because it says Fortune on it. There we are. We'll just give that a coating of gold. And we're going to blitz some of these pieces. I haven't got lots of intricate painting today because I'm choosing to use lots of different products. But the piece will still have lots of layers and lots of details. There we are. This is from the Golden Harmony collection, and this is where it's really helpful because you can mix and match your mold. So when I'm looking to buy a mold, sometimes it's a single image that I just have to have, but more often than not I am a bit more restrained than that, and I look to see whether I think that a mold can be used for multiple different occasions. And if the mold can be used for lots of different occasions, then I will pick it up and use it. There we are. So let's just pop that over there and pop that over there, and then there we are. Those can go over there. And if this is too dry, I should be cross with myself because I knew there was something else I wanted to add. Okay. Oh, flipping heck. There we are. So the glossy gel is dry. It's not completely dry. I'm not too sure how well these are going to stick. I've got black and I've got violet, aka purple, micro beads here. There we are. That's my own fault because I should have done that before I put that on. so let me just find a piece of paper. Sacrilege, I know. But otherwise these are going to go every which way. So I'm just going to sprinkle some of those into there. I don't want them everywhere. I'm just wanting to add a little bit of extra colour into these. And there is definitely a reason why I've picked... Oops, sorry about that. There we are. Pick the glossy gel because I'm using it for other things as well. So let's just pop that on there. And these are the black. So they're not black, completely black. They're just going to add in and fill the spaces. And am I getting these every which way? Yeah, I am. So that's just typical, isn't it? But I'm just wanting to add these in. They'll stick where they stick. I don't want them on everything. There we are. It's just going to add another layer of texture. And then we're going to give these a little bit of a shake. There we are. So they've added in some areas. Now I can't actually put those back in a pot, in my pot, because otherwise I'm going to contaminate, aren't I? Let me just get rid of some of this mess off here. Because in spite of that, nice, we've got microbeads everywhere. They are the invention of the devil. They really do get every which way. If you've got a spare pot, you can then pop those into it. And I'm going to pop them in the bin because I haven't got a spare pot. Okay, so let us give this little lot a goodly dry. Because for the next bit, actually, we can do one more step whilst those are drying on their own. Let me just pop that down there. Right. So let me talk you through these pieces, and let's get a clean piece of white paper underneath there so you can see what I'm doing. So these also come from the Fortune collection, and I have precast these using the super glass resin that I have tinted with media ink, so alcohol, a form of alcohol ink, to give me different colours and a degree of transparency. If I put that on a dark background, you lose the light behind them, but they're pre-coloured because of the way I've tinted them. So I've added wanted a sort of ethereal feel, for want of a better way of describing that. But I want to do some more details, and I want those colours to pop, not sink into the project, because I don't want to be able to see through them as such. But it is a cool technique, that is for sure. So this is metal leaf glue. It could be just as easily be the Dekoratőr Ultra Tacky. You just need a metal leaf glue and a brush that you're really not going to be too worried about if you end up popping it in a rubbish bin. So let's find one of my really cream crackered brushes. There we are. And I'm just going to add, you can tell how cream crackered this particular brush is, because it feels completely, there is no movement in it, and that's fine. So I'm just going to paint the backs of these. I have a plan that's going to help make them glow. Well, that's the idea. I want them to glow. So this is, as I say, it's a metal leaf glue. The Ultra Tacky glue will work just as well. Just want a covering from over here. So the intention is that I'm going to have these glowing, and so you can't see through to the back when they're on the piece. Well, that's the idea anyway. So just a different thing to do as much as anything else. There we are. And then we're going to need a little bit of dry time. While we just pull everything together. So whenever I'm going live, I think through what I want to do, what I want to achieve, and then a way of getting it as much ready as I can, but without taking away the learning process. Good evening, Debbie. Welcome, my darling. Hello, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining me, my darling. I know I answered your question earlier, but I think I haven't answered, recognised that you were in, so I apologise for that. You can see, as I say, this is just have it. And that brush now, if I don't get it completely clean, I am going to stick it in a pot of water and see if I can rescue it. But I'm not going to cry if I don't get it soft. So let's just give these all a good deep dry without. So I'm going to end up with stuff everywhere. I can see it happening. I don't think there's any way of doing a mixed media live without having some episodes of drying time, I'm afraid. Particularly when I know I want to antique things, but I haven't come out. I've got a nice piece of white something there, which is, there we are. I'll get rid of that. We need that to go okay. To go from white to clear. Sorry, guys. So we're coming along together really quite nicely, I feel. Do I have 25 tons of gubbins around me? Yeah, I do. I have a ridiculous amount of gubbins around me. So I just need to get these to dry. Yeah, I'll get in there. I might grab a different. I've got silver metal flakes that. I might just go and grab a gold set. Let's leave that there, blowing over there. Let me just grab some gold. This is what I have everything and being able to use these up. There we are, rather than having more. A bit like, isn't it? Boring, isn't it, waiting for paint to dry or glue to dry? There we are. So let's just pop those over there for the moment. That's reasonable, that's reasonable, that's reasonable. There, okay. So, got lots of colour in here, But in the process of having lots of colour and lots of surface interest, I've also sort of lost some of the definition in the back of it and some of the depth. So we're just going to pop that back in. So I've got the black antiquing gel here, and we'll just scrabble it over everything, into all of the nooks and the crannies. There we are. We'll do half at a time because otherwise it will dry when I don't necessarily want it to all dry. It's important that you do get it into every nook and cranny though, and then I can take this off and it's going to stay in the depths. So the bottom parts are going to look much blacker. There we are. So it adds a little bit more depth and interest to the whole piece. And yeah, this is for me what mixed media is. It's not simply two products, it's about layering to add interest until you're happy with it. And yeah, it does mean I'm using a lot of mediums, but it will work for this process. There we are. So the background pieces of this are now black, and the colour is now all on the surface. And that means I'm possibly not going to add any waxes to the surface of this, because I've added enough detail, I think, with just putting that black into the background. I'll pop that down. I'm just going to wipe over with another. So the joy of the antiquing gels is that they wipe back, but once they are dry, they are permanent, and they're just going to take off the surface. So there we are. So that will work for that. I don't want black for the others. So that can now sit and dry. Ooh, well, lid at that. So lots of black products tonight. Oops, that's not gone on properly. So let's just get that lid neatly onto there properly. Otherwise, I'll have a whole host of headaches in the future. Let's just pop that over there. And then I have, let's just clean that mess. There we are. So this is the Patina Blue Antiquing Gel. And that can be another scrubbly brush because we're going to pop it in. That's beginning to thicken, but these are my first pots from 2 Christmases ago. So that's okay. And I leave them open when I shouldn't do, because generally you're better off not leaving pots open. Or you know, decant them out somehow and then work from that. But yeah, do what I did say, not what I do in this circumstance. There we are. Okie dokie. So let's just take some of this off. So it's going to make it easier to see the word onto that. And bring out all the texture in this piece again by adding it. I wasn't really aiming for rusty, but this piece would work quite nicely with rust materials on it. There we are. There we are. Just makes a big difference to your pieces. Right, let's take there we are. I think there are words meant to be on there, but I'm not wanting the words, so there we are. Squish it into all the nooks and the crannies and wipe off what you can. There we are. managed to knock off a little bit of the green paint. I'm just going to add that onto there, take that back, just layer it where I want it to be. And then in an ideal world, you would add a varnish to all of those pieces. Right, let's clean hands. So I've got three areas of each of the other colours on the frame with the black, and I've got 3 areas of that brighter blue to pop. And I'm taking the colours I'm using from my background rice papers. Okay, right, excellent. So these are getting there. Let's see if that will be dry. So let's just pop that up there. Right. Let's just clean that, because otherwise we'll have a messy back. Excellent. So I now have some rub-on powders. It's not quite dry over there. Let me just have that a blast up there. Yeah. You can see how well the tacky glue works. Right, let's just heat that up a little bit. This is just transparent wax, but it's quite solid because it's cold in my craft room. So let's just give that a little blast and a little warm up. Don't worry, Anya, I do hope you're feeling better soon. And we have managed to lose a piece. Well, that's typical. Oh, no, we haven't. There we are. Excellent. So let me just scoop out a little bit of that transparent wax. That's better. It's now a bit softer than it was. So this is a great way of adding mica powders to your products, or in my case, the rub-on pigments. So that is Midnight Ocean, and this is called Scarabus. And these are chameleon colours. And they come in little pots, and you think they're very expensive. But if you just add a little bit of wax to a makeup pad sponge, and we can just add a little bit of that, pop that onto there, and then I can add this gently over some of these areas of picking up. So I'm making my own wax in effect. There we are. Doesn't particularly matter if I pick that up. So let's just pick up some of the Scarabus, which is a green. And let's just add, and it will soften that black. The black really needs to be more dried, I think, than it currently is, but that's okay. So there we are. Mix it up. But you definitely need a little bit of the wax for these to work in. And they're sold in tiny packs, but you really don't need very much of these. to go a long way. I'm going to leave that area up there, partly because that blob is still wet. Okie dokie. So let's just add a bit more of that down here where I haven't got my beads. There we are. Let's just add some of that. Excellent. So let's just, so I've now got a shimmer, which is quite difficult. I think I can see it, but I think it's quite difficult to pick up, and it's always been the problem. So let's get the lids on these the correct way. So that is Midnight Ocean. That is that. Yeah, so that is the Midnight Ocean. So it goes from that white powder to this brilliant blue. And those micro beads are still not stuck, but that's fine because it's still slightly damp. Let's put that out of harm's way, because we're going to have another almighty mess in a minute, because they'll go every which way too. So let's just get rid of the last of the white. Thank you, Sabine. My brain is a very dangerous place, my darling. I do have to have an idea or a concept. I'm not a good abstract maker, but once I've got a concept in my head, then generally I am okay, and I can go from there and develop a story around that. But I definitely need something for my ideas to spin from. Right, you can still see some bits that are not completely dry, but I'm going to be naughty and I'm going to work with it because it's going to be far easier. Right, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's pop that little lot over there. Now then, so that had the metal leaf glue on it. Yep. If you don't do something with it, it seriously will stay like that permanently. So you need to put something on, and I want these to glow. So I've got gold, silver, copper. It's a mixed pack, but that's fine because I'm hoping, yeah, I think these will work quite nicely. You're only going to see bits of it. Let me just rub this in to the backs of these. Doesn't matter if it's not all the way even all the way through. And now I'm going to, because I've got glue on my hand, I'm going to have icky, sticky, mucky hands, because that's just what happens. Right, and at that point, you need a nice stiff brush. Aha! And that really now has absolutely transformed that from really quite pale and murky to absolutely glowing. Very definitely has an ethereal feel about it. Each one of these is going to look different because I've used different colours on the top. There we are. That's probably the one it's going to make the most difference to. This one will probably have almost no difference, but that's also fine. It's just going to stop the colour coming through on the make. And in fact, I can see that it does have a glow behind it. There we are. But it means that I won't be able to see the background. And I could have just painted them white, I guess, but I definitely feel that it just adds another layer of complexity to the piece. Definitely messy, Sheila. No question, it's messy. And there will be bits of this flying around forever and a month of Sundays because I've got a heater on in here. Let's just get those bits into there. Let's just mop this. So dry mopping. I know that means that it looks like I've squashed them into my mat, but actually it's a silicone mat underneath. They will come off. There we are. Excellent. Let's get rid of that mess from the chrome powders. That can go over there. That can go over there. Those can go there. Look at the state of those. Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm hoping it will be beautiful. I am hoping. You never quite know till everything comes together. Oh, yeah. Let's get rid of the messy yucky. And I'm just going to turn my fan off because I'm now getting hot. And I don't need that one. And I have some pieces of ephemera and a wooden shape. So let's just grab this permanent ink pad and let's grab some ink. I did an hour about seeing if I could find a black cap, but I couldn't find one in my stash. Though there is one in the collection. So, yeah, if you haven't used one, I've just used it for something else. And I could probably darken that off a little bit more to add, just by adding some of this black around the edges. It'll just help build a little bit more shade and make it less brown. There we are. This is a wooden shape, so we'll just add a bit of edging to that. We might actually gold wax some of those in a minute, particularly those pieces. So this is the brown. So this is a book of spells, book of ruins, you name it, whatever you feel it might be. It's an ephemera, so it's slightly thicker than lots of pieces. Let's just add mixture of that black. It's a shiny surface. It's just going to mute it down a little bit, and it's a permanent ink pad, so it will dry on there. Magic potions, that definitely feels right for this time, and it goes with the bottles as well, which might be meant to be perfume bottles, but actually I think it works quite well as potion bottles. Yeah, I think I've got those lids on the right way. It's always a good move, isn't it? Always a good move. Right, so let's just take some gold wax and let's just add that gold wax to the edge of that moon. There we are. I will add it all the way around the magic hands. Let's just add that again onto the top of there. There we are. Excellent. So let's just pop that over there. And then let's just clean these up. There we are. Right. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Have we got all of our elements ready? Yeah, we have. Now, off the live, I will add some ink around the edges. Actually, I can do that now, can't I? I can do that now. Let me just do it now. Just to frame the piece. I might add some wax as well, but we might not. We might just leave it all framed just with the black, because we're wanting a piece. So now you know why I wasn't worried about patching at the top, because I thought it wasn't going to matter by the time I added in all of the layers and all of the textures. Let's just add this down here, and believe me, just adding this makes such a difference. It just pulls the eye in, and it gives your eye a break from the edge. There we are. Excellent. There we are. Good. So there we are. Right. Now, ladies, So that is going to go there. That is going to go there. I might just lift that partly on and off. That is going to add onto there along with those. He is going to sit there. The 3 is going to sit there. The 1 will sit there. The fortune is going to sit there. The hand is going to sit on there. And then we're going to add some extra pieces. So we might stick that further up into there. I think it's going to work better. There we are. So that's going to go there. That can go there. That's going to sit in there. That piece is going to go there. He's going to go there. And they're going to go there. I think. There we are. So now we just have to put it all together again. Hey! Right. Oh, she says. So let's just add a little bit of heavy body gel into there and pop that half on, half off, and that can centre there. Okay. So let me just lift these because we need these 2 pieces to go down first. And I'm going to try and take the back off it. But because of the texture, I am going to add plenty of gel medium to the back of that. And that's purely because I know that I've got the texture underneath there, and that will otherwise make it difficult for that to stick. Doesn't look quite straight to me, but we'll worry about that. Excellent. We've got bits of everything every which way. Thank you, Sheila. We just have a very different style, I think, to quite a lot of the creative team. And that can sit over there. And I'm just going to wipe back the glue gel that's on those because it's going to be, it will dry white. Okay. So now we can add our glue gel onto here. I can always scrape out what I don't want, so there we are. Okay. And that is going to sit in there. Let's just pop our 3. I'm not going to put them completely flat, straight, because 3 won't make sense to me. This will be slightly problematic because of the texture, so I'm actually going to pop a good, and it's the texture on the frame that's the issue. So this is the title for my piece. So I'm going to put it so the word is up the right way. That would definitely help. There we are. And I want to cut that there. So let's just pop that onto there. So it's cupping around there as the moon. That piece of flake will irritate me, but will come off. Excellent. So we have our ethereal bottles. I can now pop that into there. And I can't see through anymore, so that's cool. And that can go onto there. That piece can go into there. And that one is going to sit on there. So I'm going to add a good dollop of heavy body gel onto there, because of the texture of the piece as much as anything else. Okay. Oh, well, that wasn't what you wanted to do, was it? No. Having made everything shiny, that's definitely not what you wanted to do. So I have my cat. As long as I can read my 3, I'm going to be happy. Doesn't matter if part of it is hidden, as long as it's understandable as a 3. There we are. And this is, again, it will be a challenge for it. So I'm just going to add that onto there. It is going to be a challenge because it's not all on the same level, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I just need to have it sat where I like it. I think I'm going to prefer it there, and then I can pop the hand into there. Yay. So okay. I'm going to add some splatters because I want some splatters. And what am I going to have? I'm going to add some gold and some black splatters. So let me just can see white paste there. I'm just going to take it out of the way. Right, so that is some black primer paste added as splatters. Let's just clear that mess before we mix it up. Get rid of the spare gel medium. Let's just add some of this gold with a splatter brush. So let's just pop some of that onto there. Let's just give it a good dilute down with some water. There we are. Thank you, Angela. It's impossible, isn't it? So let's just add There we are. Okay. Thank you. So let's just clear some of this icky, sticky, ucky mess out of the way. There we are. Put that down there. Pop that over there. Let's move some of this stuff. So here is my make from tonight. A twist on Halloween, intentionally. I think it uses quite a lot of different products that maybe we don't come out of our stash very often. When I move it, once it's dry, it'll have a shimmer from all of that metallic paint, and then it's got the waxes for the molds and the mystical element of being able to of those bottles as if they're filled with potions. Thank you, Margaret. I thought it might be up your street because it's a bit more dark than I often make things, doesn't it? Thank you, Isabel. I'm glad you like it. Thank you, Connie, and also Sheila. So, ladies, I will sign off in a minute. Please, if you're watching on replay where there's no red sign, let me know that you've visited and you've watched through to the end. I will be back live for Pentart next Tuesday, and with a more romantic make, maybe. I'm not quite ready to do full on winter or Christmas, but so I'm going to use one of the new Stamperia collections, and hopefully that will give you some inspiration as to use it other than the way that the Stamperia teachers have used. In the meantime, I will be at the NEC on Saturday. So if you see someone that looks like me, it probably will be me. If you're there on the Saturday, feel free to let me know. I'm happy to meet up for coffee, and I will hopefully be able to go live for myself on Sunday. So ta-ta for now. Please stay safe and see you soon.